voice chat. It's not common. No, I'm not saying it's super rare, but it's not super common either. It's not really Valorant's fault that this is happening.
We're introducing new actions.
Yeah, it's one guy.
This will
yeah,
include penalties ranging from temporary bans,
yeah, they can't take
to
ownership
permanent
of this.
bans, all the way up to and including hardware bans for our worst offenders. Hardware bans are an extreme form of punishment, so we will apply them only in the most extreme cases with clear evidence and manual review, similar to how it works with anti-cheat right now. Third, because we're making these changes, we anticipate there's going to be more reports that will require manual review.
Of course.
So we'll be beefing up the teams that are needed to support that. Fourth, we've been testing Riot voice evaluation systems in North America in English only for a while now. It's still in beta, but it's been working really well so far. Players who have been actioned upon by RVE have not reoffended at a 75%.
This is like an AI that listens to everything you're saying.
Rate. This reduces the overall number of repeat offenders by a great deal. We're looking to roll this out to more regions later this year, adding support for additional languages, while also taking into account local regulations on player safety and privacy. And lastly, we're going to go back and perform a one-time review of the top suspected offenders from the previous act and issue penalties accordingly. It's important to us that you can trust us with this, that when you get feedback from a report, that you can trust that something happened in a timely manner and with the right severity. I'm hopeful that these updates should be a positive step in earning that trust, and I don't think we should stop there. Penalties and punishments, they do work after the fact, but we do think there are ways that we can be more proactive, investing in systems and designs that create an environment where things like comms harassment are less likely to happen in the first place. So more on that to come. Look, I know this message is intense.
People would do less comms harassment if, so there are ways that you can reduce the amount of people that do comms harassment. Number one is if you had real ID. If you had real ID for comms harassment, it would probably get rid of the amount of threats that you would get by like 95%. I'm saying this would work, right? I'm not saying that I want them to do this, but this would work. Because nobody would do that and make a threat if they knew they could just get reported directly to the police. So there's that. I think also like that's, but just because something makes it less likely to happen doesn't mean it's going to stop happening. I think the truth is, like, Riot, it's not their fault this is happening. They did not invent bad behavior on the internet. This is just what happens.
So let me say this. This is not just about preventing the worst. The goal is to make it so that the people who want to play Valve are able to love playing Valve. It's about promoting the best in each of us. It's about ensuring that people can share in the joy of the matches won and the tough losses and the amazing feeling of community that gaming can create. I want to thank you for the time. We're on this journey together, and despite the challenges, I know that the future we're building is bright and worth every effort. Thank you, everyone.
Okay, so that's pretty much what it is. I'll read some of the comments. Where's this? Hardware bans being introduced. Muting's not a tool to justify bad behavior. It is a tool that stops bad behavior. Don't tell people to stop muting. If you're getting harassed or you don't want people to be mean to you, you absolutely should mute voice chat. Saying otherwise is only enabling bad actors just to make yourself feel good for being on the right side of things, and it actually ends up hurting people. I got banned for standing up for myself. How are you going to manage those situations? Well, they're not. They're probably just going to keep banning you. Muting's good tools when it wants to just bad behavior. What is, like, again, it's the same as, like, I say this all the time on Twitter. I think of the stupidest thing that you can imagine, that's going to be the most popular opinion. So pathetic. Holy fuck, these people are so stupid. It's embarrassing. Lots of promises. Hope they keep in this video. They can't do anything. Hardware bans are a W. Yeah, that's what I would do. Thank you for addressing this. Yeah, a lot of people are pretty happy about this. Yeah, the internet consists of a lot of bad people and good people. You can't expect people to just be good people. Exactly, yes. But why does that sound so forced? Maybe jaded? What, me? What I'm saying? Well, because it is. But, like, I'm also right. I know you don't like it, but you think it's getting closer and closer to the point of real ID is the only solution? No, I think the solution is to just, if somebody says something that's a threat or breaks the law, you just ban them. Like, that's it. It's really simple. Like, if somebody is, like, being obnoxious or breaking the rules, like, you can make, in my opinion, like, Valorant, they should do whatever rules they think they should do, right? It's a private company. They do what they want to do. Freedom of speech? Yeah, well, you don't have freedom of speech. Like, I think social media websites should have freedom of speech, basically. But, like, I don't think games need that, right? It's not really the same situation. Like, you're not really discussing ideas. You're just talking about video games. So, I'm cool with real ID. I'm not. I don't want to have real ID. I don't. I don't think that it's necessary, and I'm not... Like, I understand that it will give people more security, but I think that if you took everybody's guns away, you would also give people more security. Like, Second Amendment. I'm a Second Amendment enjoyer. Every single thing that you do that gives people more freedom also puts more people at risk. There's almost never a change that gives people more freedom that doesn't also simultaneously put them or other people around them at risk. And in general, I think it's better to give people more freedom. Now, obviously, there are risks that are associated with that, and I am willing to take those risks. That's all it comes down to. So, other people might disagree. I understand that, but that's my viewpoint. And I think this, by the way, is the right viewpoint. I think this is the right way to look at things. If you look at history, if you look at, you know, just human behavior, I think that it's impossible to just, you know, like, okay, we're just going to make things more and more safe until you can't do anything. So, yeah. Their video felt like a proto-Skynet for gaming? No, companies have been doing this for a long time. It's just that she's talking about it and pulling back the curtain. A lot of people obviously have been doing this kind of same stuff for a while. Without freedom of speech, something like recent Helldivers 2 drama would easily be silenced because the rules private company have could include prohibition of speaking against decisions. Well, if Helldivers wanted to ban people inside of Helldivers, I wouldn't have really cared. Like, because you can just go on Twitter and talk about it. It doesn't really matter. And that's the reason why you can't really ban speech on the internet, because people will just go to another platform and do it instead. So, yeah, that's my opinion on this, is that if you are, like... I don't think that they can ever draw a line of trash talk. I don't think you can ever get everybody, or at least 80% of people, to agree where is the line for trash talk. Everybody has a different opinion of that, and I think that you should either have all of it or none of it. You cannot draw the line randomly. Yeah, they make the line. Well, what I'm saying is that, so this is okay. So let's follow this thought experiment out, right? They make the line. Okay. Well, remember how I said that, like, I have a line, but people constantly go over the line? The reason why is because people don't have an implicit understanding of that line, and that line isn't understood by everybody else. So, yes, of course, you can make a line wherever you want and ban people based off of that line. Just don't expect people to proactively intuit where that line is. That's my point. Some people always break the rules. Yeah, they will. People have different lines. They absolutely do. They can just stop playing the game. Yeah, for sure. Freedom of speech is about shit-talking the government. Has nothing at private companies besides hate speech. Well, hate speech in the U.S. is completely legal. Shit-talking the government, I think you should be able to say whatever you want as long as it's not a threat or like defamation or something like that, right? At the end of the day, I'm a big free speech advocate. I think it's a great thing. I also am a big freedom of association advocate. I think that if you don't want to hear something, I believe in personal censorship. Like, if you don't want to see something, you should never have to see it. And also, don't let anybody hoodwink you. If you are getting upset by voice chat, or you don't want to be involved with voice chat, or it's upsetting you, or it makes you feel unsafe, immediately delete it. Fucking mute it, get rid of it, get it out of your life. Stop putting yourself in positions that hurt you and make you unhappy just because you believe that the world should be different. It's not going to be different. It doesn't give a fuck about you. And maybe in the case that it does, it won't be because of you. That's it. You can only control yourself. This is not an acknowledgement. Sorry, this is not an approval of toxic behavior. This isn't me saying that it's good. This isn't me saying, oh, I grow a thicker skin. No, it's nothing of that. I'm saying if you want this problem to stop, this is how you stop the problem. That's it. And that's a fucking fact. And I hate how people are talking like it's not true. Because it puts so many people in bad situations that make them uncomfortable and unhappy. And it's only being done in order for people to virtue signal. And it's fucking annoying.
Careful! I bruise easily.
That's my TED Talk. That's my fucking opinion.
The captain will finally be proud of me! Hello.
Because it was like the building was kind of like it was sort of like two halves. There's like the engineering half and then like the machine shop half. And I was always like, I knew I'd get in trouble when I'd see one of the shop guys coming into the engineering side because they were looking for me.
Yep.
But I definitely wish that, I feel like I say this, I'll never do it. And if I did, I'd regret it. But like, even like you have like a part-time job or like a couple days a week, you have some just very straightforward direction where it's like, yeah, I just get to do this thing. And
Like door greeter at Walmart.
yeah, exactly. Like all you have to do is say hi and you get, do they give you what are the benefits of that job other than money?
Food stamps.
Food stamps. But you like have worked on some of the coolest projects that if you were to like talk about, like,
Are you allowed to talk about them?
I think some of them, yeah.
There's a few that I can talk about for sure.
When I worked at Applied Minds, it set my bar for jobs because it was my first job very high.
Yeah, I mean, and to be totally honest, me being there, I felt like I was like I'd captured lightning in a bottle, and like,
Yeah.
like I don't want this to go away. I don't want to lose this because like where else are you going to get this playground and these people, like the group of people that we had was so amazing.
My job after when I quit because I was asking for, I wanted to do like an internship with the engineering department, but my boss in the machine shop didn't want me to do that. I still don't really understand why. So I gave 2 weeks notice and they told me not to come in the next week. So I got fired for quitting. And the job after that was, it was horrible. I mean, it was horrible. It wasn't horrible, but it was like you're in an office building with no windows, with like the cheapest fluorescent bulbs you can buy, from the Home Depot surplus rack.
Like
from
sitting
the
in front of a
80s.
computer all day?
Sitting in front of a computer all day, and the computers were like completely locked down. They didn't want you listening to music or wearing headphones or anything like that. So you were just sitting in this like drab, no coffee.
That's a
This is like,
nightmare.
million dollar military contractor, and it's like they don't have a company coffee machine that you can just get, the engineers can drink coffee. Like if you're hiring engineers, like you probably want to give them as many stimulants as you could legally provide, right? Like
Yeah, I think that's kind of a known quantity as the driver for the Industrial Revolution.
Drugs.
Yeah.
Like, how long do you think it would take to build a moon base with engineers on nothing versus engineers on like methamphetamine?
I think we know.
Literally 2 weeks versus 20 years. I think that's my bet. Is that too insane of an idea? Like the experiment of giving engineers drugs. Like, do you think they would be more productive or more like high risk? Like, do you think we'd accomplish more things if engineers were on drugs?
I think there's a short-term gain there, yeah. and then there's the long destructive tail.
Okay,
and
the consequences.
Yeah, the consequences.
Like the health consequences, or like the decision making.
I think health and decision making. I come from a special effects background, film effects, and before I worked.
Should we say your name?
Yeah,
Luke. How do you say your last name? I say Conley. Is that right?
That's exactly right.
Thank God.
Yeah.
Should have been so embarrassing. It's weird. It's spelled really weird.
Although it seems unusual that you would introduce me.
We don't do that.
You don't normally. I have to look people up.
You watch. You're
I don't watch.
familiar.
I listen. But,
Okay.
But on occasion, like,
And
I
they
have
get
no
SEO.
idea who that
You're like
was.
flooding the Google SEO system with searches for them. Like, it's great that we.
It's all part of the plan.
Yes.
Yeah. The master plan. But no, but I work in entertainment, which is, definitely a field where people are trying to perform super quickly, and
Yeah, probably the quickest almost.
and have seen the detriments of that. And I think there are a lot of people that I worked with who were pretty happy to use whatever stimulants they could to get through these impossible schedules.
What are the go-tos?
Which one works the best?
The medicine cabinet in the shop.
Legal stuff or illegal stuff?
I think it's probably mostly illegal. Okay, I was
good.
pretty naive.
I haven't even seen a lot of drugs, honestly. I've never even seen like cocaine.
I don't know that I knew if I saw it that I knew
What it was. It's just like a mysterious powder.
Or mostly it was just like mysterious behavior.
Kevin, do you know what cocaine looks like?
I know what it looks like, but I haven't seen it. It's white powder. Ambiguous white powder. I think that's what all drugs kind of look like, though.
Ambiguous white powder.
At some
Yeah.
point, right?
I think
Before they're pressed into.
A lot of poisons look like ambiguous white powders too.
So does sugar.
Yeah. That's how you make money. You cut it down.
Or so
Yeah.
we've heard.
Because we did like when we worked on Mr. Beast's Squid Game video, that was the most insane thing I've ever done in my entire life, because it was 3 weeks of pushing everything, including like American manufacturing systems, to their like absolute limit. Like, you're basically finding people that were willing to, like, I don't want to say do drugs, because nobody was doing drugs that I know of, and if they were, I wouldn't tell you publicly. I would tell you privately.
We'll talk.
It was like, it was insanity. It was like, this isn't gonna work. How the hell, like, how does anybody do this? And Hollywood 100% works like that. Of like, oh, here's this thing. Actually, we changed our mind. You have 2 weeks to figure it out, and you're like, what? This is like a 4-week project. We can't do this.
Yeah, I think that's true, and I think they throw their weight around too. It's like, we worked adjacent to Disney, and so even at Applied Minds, if we went looking for something, and people saw the address, they knew that it was kind of tied closely with sort of all of the might of Disney behind it.
Yeah.
And so we would have people bend over backwards to meet schedules that were just like this perceived, like, oh, there's this juggernaut behind them.
Yeah.
And if you want them to be happy, you gotta deliver fast.
You don't really get that with YouTube, though. Not unless, I guess it's with anything. It's unless they know you, and then they're willing. Like, if they know you and it's YouTube, I feel like that they're willing to bend over more.
Mr. Beast
They're willing
gets
to
that.
like help you more than probably film, because it's more like a personal thing.
Yeah, I think there's that, and I think the personal thing is a big part of it, because especially now, I think people are a little jaded about the film business, and the film companies don't actually want to be known that they're behind it, because people will jack up the prices too.
But 99% of the time, the company has no idea who you are, and they won't even engage with you. If you're like, reach out to a big company that makes lasers, and you're like,
As a
hi,
YouTuber?
As a YouTuber.
Yeah, oh yeah. they
And you're
don't
like,
care.
hi, I'm doing this video, and I'm doing a laser, like, I'm inquiring about one of your lenses, like,
Yeah.
something like
They
this.
just
And
ignore
no
you.
response even,
Yeah,
unless
that
they
makes
know
sense.
you. And then there's like this one guy in the company who's like, oh yeah, my son loves that guy, and
Yeah.
then that gets the
That's
ball
the
rolling.
power of a brand, though. Like, that's just when people
sure.
recognize the name, you can do anything.
Yeah.
If they don't, you're sort of screwed. Like, even last night, we were on TikTok. We were like on live streams, just trying to get people to say the word frog.
Okay.
And you know, I'm just using my TikTok account, like my public TikTok account, and nobody had any idea.
No.
It's just like they don't know. It's just like this weirdo trying to get them to say frog, and I think it's probably pervert. I mean, I'm not saying that it's not,
Right.
but it worked really well on like the accounts, the live stream accounts that were like selling stuff. They're just like hawking supplements and things.
Right.
So crazy. It's all the same supplement too.
Yeah, like weird.
I bet it's like one warehouse, like
Full of
like in that
what,
company.
like lion's mane mushrooms.
Like
or-
no collagen.
Yeah,
Oh,
collagen.
collagen.
And then
7
one was
different
like
types of collagen.
sea something,
Sea moss.
sea moss, like SEA, like ocean
Is
moss.
this all part of like the aesthetic beauty
Yeah,
skincare
it was
regime
Like, it was
stuff?
a dude selling. There was a dude selling like weird like vaginal supplements as
Yeah.
well. It was like, what is this? It was bizarre. It was almost like I don't know, Black Mirror. Like you kind of just imagine it's like people like the MLM like selling weird things, but you're just spending your free time with your cell phone talking, like saying the same
And
thing
you're like
over and over
40
again.
viewers just repeating the same
But
thing.
they're bots, 100%, right? The viewers.
Oh, I don't know.
Oh, that's
Probably
strange.
Maybe.
Because like that's why they would respond. That we could really easily get them to say frog, because I think it was the first time in a while that somebody had typed in their chat,
Yeah.
and it was like, are you actual like really live? Like say frog if you're live, and they would stop
they would
talking for
pause.
like seconds. It's like they're having a stroke trying to like figure out what
They're
else
trying to
going on.
parse
and then it would be like
what that means.
frog.
Well, I
It's
think
like a
that pause.
Turing test or something.
Yeah.
I think that pause was like the input prompt to like the model waiting for a return.
Their brain had been reading the same like nutrition information label for like 6 hours straight, so
Right.
interrupting it with anything different caused like a whole like
It's such a
changeover.
weird world. I feel completely out of place.
Dude,
hearing about this.
one of the guys just sounded like super drunk. It actually made me kind of sad that people
Yeah.
were just like reading the same script over and over again. And I don't think it was like a corporate thing. I think it's just like some MLM thing, or like someone just sends
Yeah.
them product and then gives them commission and they can sell things. Like it's weird, really weird. Like
That's it.
like street.
I wonder how
hawkers.
much money. If you guys know how much money those people make on TikTok doing the live streams, just like
I mean, probably not a lot.
right. It
Like-
can't be unless you run like a giant studio where you do that.
Yeah.
But otherwise, it's all like supplements. Who goes on TikTok and buys supplements?
Sea moss.
Or like
supplements.
ends up buying a massage chair from a live stream.
yeah.
Right. That is.
Like no way.
The
is strange.
CMOS one, the guy I asked, he was, what did he? I can't even remember, but I told him, I was like, he's like, how was your day today? Because I just left a comment. He can't tell, and I'm like, oh, I did really bad on my math test, and so now he's like, you know, the implication is he's like trying to sell supplements to a child, and
They didn't let me go out for recess. I had to stay.
and then he just starts like, he just pauses and doesn't know what to do. He's like, do I keep doing? He's like, well, maybe I think CMOS could probably help you.
They wouldn't let me go out for recess.
And then he goes back into a script of like, it's got minerals, it's got all the minerals we need, and this and that. Maybe I don't want a normal job. Maybe it's just good.
Yeah, that
you-
sounds like the advice that I got.
Do you think you can get a frog right now?
From who? Who else?
Yeah. No, on TikTok. You want to try
Like
it?
yeah.
a frog. I don't know how interesting
frog.
it would be right now.
I just remember somebody telling me like,
We'll do that as an extra.
Okay.
don't ever do a job where you only make as much money as the time you yourself put into it.
Yeah. Yeah. And then you're just gonna be doing it till the day you die.
Exactly.
Like,
it's gotta have some legacy of its own.
So what movies? I actually don't know if I know what shows or movies you've worked on doing special effects. Because you do like it was like animatronics. And,
Yeah, creature creation would be like
Oh,
the
cool.
specifics. And I worked starting in like really, really low budget movies. So early 90s. A movie I'm super proud of because it was my very first job, and screen credit is Nudist Calling the Dead by Mark Puro, which was a
never-
follow-up. No, you wouldn't. And it was a follow-up movie to A Polish Vampire in Burbank, which was like a crazy success story for this filmmaker.
Yeah.
And then he went on to try to continue that. But it was one of those things where working, living with friends who are also interested in working in the film business, looking at the trade magazines, and basically offering to work for free for anything that was shooting around.
Can you still watch any of those? Do you have like copies, or are they online anywhere?
You could find a lot more now. For a while, there's like a dead zone where you could not find.
Oh, it's just straight up on YouTube. There's a trailer.
Oh, there it is. Yep. 1991.
Did you do any of this?
Yeah, what did you?
Yeah, I was involved in. So the makeup effects in this were done by somebody else, but I was like just wanted to be on any part of this. Oh, there I am.
Which one?
One of the naked backs.
How old are you?
I was early 20s, like 20.
That's awesome. How did you?
So
get,
are
how do
you like the
get
one on the right, bottom right?
Are you the one with the bald spot on the top?
No.
George Costanza.
Right.
All right, hold your thoughts still.
But yeah, so we were feasting on human flesh.
What was it actually?
Human flesh. He was low budget. You had to just use the real stuff.
That's all we had. It was a PA. You know, it's just really funny too, because it just sort of looks like kind of like a YouTube student film, but that's because the tech today is so much more advanced that like I can only imagine the monumental effort that went into this.
It was a little ridiculous how much work went into making something like this, and it was shot on Super 8 film, and that was part of the trademark. Mark Perot shot his movies on Super 8, and then continued to do that because he'd had so much success with his first movie.
I stuck to the one thing that he thought was the reason it did well.
Yeah, but we shot in Topanga, and climbed trees to put cameras up in the trees to get high angle shots, and just did crazy stuff, and it was a lot of fun. But it was one of those things that was like, all through high school and making student films and setting up squibs and stuff.
Yeah.
With friends, I was like, I'm in Hollywood now, and like, it's exactly the same. Nothing's changed. It's ridiculous. But it was a lot of people all working together towards one thing, and so this was like, oh yeah, makeup effects is pretty cool. I want to do more.
So that's
of
like
this
a lot
stuff.
of what you helped with here.
I tried to help with the makeup effects, but I was hired just as part of the crew.
Okay.
So I was kind of doing whatever job I
Right.
could.
What? How does a movie like this? Like, where does it go? Like when it gets made? Like what happens?
At this time, it's sold like direct to video international market.
So you have to like hawk the movie. Like
yeah, they take it around and sell it. And at the
Whoa.
time, it was they sold it all on VHS.
So they're just like making, they like a stack, like a U-Haul full of VHS tapes that they.
Yeah, and it goes to rental houses.
Try to
okay.
like you like sit down.
Yeah,
with
no, I
the
mean,
boss and make them watch
like
it.
sadly, I'm old enough to remember when there were lots and lots of rental houses around, but you would find the big name horror movie, and there'd be like 4 or 5 clones sitting on stuff next to it, and that's the market that these filmmakers
Like
were
the
going
accidental, like you grab the wrong one, or people
for.
who like
You grab the wrong one,
something
but
different.
Roger Corman and Concord New Horizon Film
Yeah.
have been doing that already for
Right.
a long time.
What's the most recognizable name of a movie that you think you've done?
Starship Troopers is probably.
What'd you do? That's awesome.
I did the so that by then I was doing full-on animatronic build, and we did hydraulic, the Warrior Beetle, in the fight sequences with the Space Marines.
Okay.
Were full scale hydraulic puppet that could actually lift people up and throw them around. And so I worked on attack claws and other aspects.
Just like little parts of it.
Like I would say segments of the creature, and like that.
Oh,
Those are the Warrior Beetles. And then when they actually interact with a human, when they pick them up or cut them in half.
Like the Jurassic Park, kind of like everyone's familiar with the CG versus the animatronic.
Exactly. So this is all the CG stuff that was headed up by Phil Tippett, and really pretty groundbreaking at the time.
It looks great, honestly.
It looks really good, and having a hard shell carapace is a good thing for CG, right? At the time, fur and hair wasn't quite as good as it is now.
Right.
Now it's unbelievable, but it was still a little difficult to really put people and creatures together closely.
Did you get to do the shower scene in this movie?
That's why they hired me originally. But then I was like, but I can also build these creatures.
I would rather build the creatures.
You might also know me from Nude Male Extra and Newest Colony of the
Newest Colony of the
Dead.
Dead, yeah, exactly. So
Nude Male Extra number 4.
and then I worked for the same company. I worked on Alien Resurrection, which is the 4th installment in the Alien movies, and built the chest burster for that movie, and some of the the alien swims underwater in that one, so we tried to make a waterproof radio control mask that the actor can swim with, and the alien queen comes back in that movie as well and gives birth to a baby, and I worked on a lot of those
Like puppets.
big hydraulic puppets. So that was like the heyday of the big puppets.
What was your job specifically? Was it like a little bit of everything, the mechanics?
Animatronic designer.
Okay.
So both on computer and on paper, drawing and fabricating the mechanisms, and then machining them and building them and puppeteering them on set.
See, that's kind of like when I was a kid, that would have been like a dream job, but kind of thinking about it now and knowing a little bit more of how everything works, I think might be a nightmare job, because it's like your dream job, but also maybe it's a little bit miserable.
I think in the same way that if you're an artist and you do commercial art, it's both your dream job and occasionally a little bit of a nightmare, because you're like, I'm doing my best to make this really good. Why do you want to make it worse?
Right.
Like, why is the director and the producer and the other people making the decisions coming in and, just
saying weird,
just tweak it, just do this. And I think, everyone wants to have a hand in that.
Like, can you make the hydraulic actuator move 10 times faster? And you're like,
well, the Alien Queen, I told the story before, and it really meant a lot to me to build a big hydraulic creature that was fiberglass and steel and powerful was a big change, because up till then I did a lot of smaller radio control puppets and masks and things that are kind of delicate, and that creature would whip around, and it was so dangerous at full tilt that this big skull piece, this like skull carapace that goes back, has these 3 spines on the back, and they're bringing something called the super techno crane over the top to do this like flyover shot, and the head's whipping around, and it's got a festooned line of cables for all the cameras and the control system, and the head engages the crane and rips all of the cables out of the techno crane.
oh my god.
And so normally, if a puppet that I've built interacts with a set, the puppet gets damaged. In this case,
destroy the camera equipment.
This camera equipment.
Nice.
And it kind of felt good.
Is this it?
So this is the Alien Queen from the movie before. So this was the Queen from Aliens.
That looks like there's somebody inside of there.
That's trash bags. That's a great work by I think that was done at what has become Legacy Effects, Stan Winston Studios. But Alec and Tom were the folks at Amalgamated Dynamics who worked on Alien, both Aliens and this movie. And so,
Holy shit, that thing's huge.
So we took that head from a collector who had stored it since the first movie and refurbished it and put new mechanics inside it and brought it to life. And that's the hand puppet version. So there's a person on a tiller bar behind it who's moving it around, and then later it's installed on a big hydraulic base. And I think there you can see that right there. That's all big hydraulic cylinders, and that thing
they're moving fast too.
It was fast and powerful and dangerous, and so that was a lot of fun. That was really that was pushing, special effects puppetry into sort of this like industrial dangerous realm, and that was a blast.
I feel like none of this stuff happens anymore. Like, it's all like anything like this would be fully CG.
That looks like something that was made by SRL.
Yeah, exactly. You might see like lighting stand-ins or things like that today, but interestingly now I think live theater performances and like Walking with Dinosaurs type stuff, and now they've got theme parks are doing.
It's more like live action.
They're doing really cool large-scale puppets for live action, which is awesome, but is
way more time consuming.
And it's also very like really cutting edge fabrication. We built that out of steel and fiberglass.
You just had to get it quick and
had to crank it out. Had to buy, cylinders as early as you possibly could get them. Lead times would kill us waiting for that stuff. So it's like, just buy it big and go for it.
When did you have to get a quote unquote real job? Like, I think that kind of the 90s would have been the beginning of like the CGI transition. Like, what was that like? Because I can imagine, you're doing this thing, you've kind of gotten to a great place.
So it was all part of this this trajectory of acquiring tools and skills. Like like a lot of advice that people give, and I often give it, which is, you know, think of a project, something you want to make, something you want to do, and then acquire the tools and the skills you need to get there.
Yeah.
I kind of went the other way around. I was like, oh, what is that? I want to learn how to use that. I want to see what I can make with that. So I learned how to weld pretty early. I wanted to fabricate stuff. I wanted to design stuff. I saw, you know, a 3D model on a computer, and that was pretty new.
Yeah.
And I was like, that's how my brain works. That's what I want to do.
Yeah.
So, you know, I started in effects drawing on paper. We made our drawings. You just drafted them on paper and then machined parts, and then sort of got caught up in the digital design world, and that really expanded what we could do, because we could figure out a lot of movement and stuff, and we didn't have to go and make mock-ups, and the computer models allowed stuff to be a little more realized
Did
functionally beforehand.
Right. Did work just like kind of disappear in special effects?
No,
Like, is that-
so yeah, I'm slowly getting to the point that we were acquiring all these skills, acquiring this knowledge, and the movies got bigger and the puppets got bigger, and then, you know, and we saw Jurassic Park, and there was like this collective, oh shit, what are we doing? And now Jurassic Park was a fusion of really amazing work from you know, the bottom to the top, as far as there were hydraulic creatures that were, and puppets that were the best ever made at the time.
Yeah.
The special effects were also the best ever done at the time, the pure CG effects. And they hired folks like Phil Tippett to design the movement of the dinosaurs and really direct the creation of that. So you had artists all up and down the process involved, and people who had done it other ways before. And so it was like, how can we get these to integrate? How can we get it all to look good and work together? And it was phenomenally expensive and sort of a difficult model to sustain.
Yeah.
But it was like the writing on the wall. We're like, this. And we thought it was going to be a year or two before we were all out of a job. What actually happened is that it was like 10 more years of really cool work, where there was ambition to do stuff practically because you wanted to keep up with the computer graphics.
Right.
But there was also integration of the two. And then there's the nostalgic component, where certain directors and people want to see the puppets. So the business continues to this day, and it's changed a lot. And mostly the time scale and the available money it's pretty miserable to do it right now. But there's still people building puppets, mostly because they want to, and I think that's true for a lot of things. I think that's true for certain types of art.
Right.
And it's not fun, then it's not worth the arduous task of doing it.
I think the first time I met you was like, it must have been 2008 at Applied Minds, because I was in high school and I like interned, and I smashed my foot. I destroyed my toe with a steel beam, and then I disappeared for a couple months. And I think I can't remember if I came. I think I came back.
Yeah.
And I've been an adamant. I've very much. I like wearing steel toe boots now. And I think. Were you guys working on the clock at that time? Because there's a couple of projects that I've witnessed, like, that are like kind of the most insane things I've ever seen in my life. Which is why I would say that this job kind of set the bar really high for jobs, because it's those things that you would see on like in a magazine or a TV show or a movie.
Yeah. So going from effects into robotics. So all of the creature stuff that we did were kind of puppeteered robotics. And so there's a lot of crossover there. And then working my way into this job at Applied Minds was kind of like you said, now I'm getting serious about a more real engineering, more real fabrication,
like a consistent day job,
day job, and enjoying the being around folks that it wasn't all just about movies and what the next movie was going to be, or what was happening in entertainment.
Right.
And it was like this burgeoning world of robotics was getting so fascinating. And then there's this company that's kind of like an effects shop, and also does all of these other really cool things, and is headed up by these visionary, this couple of visionary people who also had similar backgrounds.
Are you talking
to
about
myself.
Danny and Bran?
Yeah,
Bran is one of the weirdest people I've ever met in my entire life.
it's very unusual.
And I know he
person.
doesn't listen to this podcast. I'm totally fine
Right,
saying
so
that.
you're just gonna
How much shit can I talk about Bran? Am I gonna get you into trouble?
I have no idea.
Who is Bran?
So Bran is this man, this very mysterious man who also
Bran
kinda
the
came-
man.
Bran the man. I think his family had money.
Okay.
And he did some special effects in his.
He did. He
his
worked on
years.
Altered States. He,
Like 20 years before you, probably.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
And then started this company because he had. He like ended up like head of Imagineering, right? Was he? Or was
well,
it,
he and Danny both worked in Imagineering.
But
I
like
think,
the top guys, right?
well, they headed up the research and development arm of Imagineering. Yeah, they worked together there.
How did he end up there? How did Bran end up there?
I have.
He's good
He
at
probably
talking.
just walked in and said,
Yeah.
"So, well, here's everything you're doing wrong. You know what you should do is this." And they went, "Okay, you're hired." I honestly don't know. I don't actually know.
Yeah.
But I do know that he and Danny decided, like, well, we're doing all this stuff just for Disney. We could do a lot of this stuff for a lot of other clients. And
Yeah.
So they kind of just opened up this workshop that did everything.
I saw that man eat an entire bowl of blue cheese dressing at Black Angus. That's not even a lie. This isn't defamation.
I can't.
Have you ever seen?
I can't
have you
comment
ever
on that.
seen?
refute that.
Have you ever seen the owner of a company work for eat an entire bowl of blue cheese dressing?
How big is the bowl?
I mean, it was
It's
way
like-
bigger than it should have been.
It's
I don't
like
remember
it's like to
exactly.
share. It's like a dip to share.
Yeah, I would
with the
say
whole
it was
table.
probably more than sharing dip. Like I remember very explicitly. This is like.
Wait, did he
this-
order like a bowl of blue cheese and eat it like a soup?
I will give you the exact details because this story is more absurd than it should be. It's when you at least with the baby right now, we make this joke of like core memory unlocked.
Okay.
that was me. I had a core memory unlocked, and I will
Oh
never
my
forget
gosh.
this. So this guy, like the big boss of this company that I was working at, making at that point probably like $8 an hour, $10 an hour. We like go to lunch, like a small company lunch. Like it was just, I don't remember what it was for, some project or something. And he asked for steamed broccoli and a side of blue cheese. And he specifically says to the waitress that it's, when you think it's too much blue cheese, keep going.
That sounds exactly like something
Yeah.
you would say.
And she shows up with this just gargantuan bowl of blue cheese, and I don't mean like 5 gallons, because I think even like a coffee mug full of blue cheese is gargantuan.
Yeah.
But it's like the large side salad.
Yeah, it was like a lot of blue cheese, and it proceeds to just like completely waterboard the broccoli,
Each piece of broccoli.
and then I almost want to like exaggerate and say that he like sucked the blue cheese off and then dunked it again. He didn't. I don't think he
You don't
did
think he
that.
double
I think
dipped?
that would have been a second like core memory unlocked.
And it was steamed broccoli, though.
It was steamed broccoli,
It was-
yeah. So it was healthy, and then the
Not
blue
as healthy.
cheese added the flavor, and because it was steamed broccoli, it was completely healthy. Oh, that's my favorite brand story.
Wow.
I have other brand stories.
Everyone who's worked with Bran has Bran stories.
Okay, Kevin, imagine this. There's
Okay.
like this guy. He kind of looks like a hobo, and he walks around the office in a trench coat.
No, I think I'm gonna edit that. Like,
No trench coat?
no, it's a photography vest.
Is that what it is?
Yeah.
Like an
It's a
Indiana
vest.
Jones vest?
No, with pockets all the way down.
Tactical trench coat.
Yeah,
Like,
okay.
Like a tactical vest.
It was like it went below his waist though, right? I remember it being really long.
only in winter.
Maybe.
Yeah.
What's a
But it had long. It was like my shorts length because it had long flaps on the bottom.
Okay, yeah. But he would wear the same color pants too.
Yeah.
So it would kind of like look like. No, it's more like.
No, that one in the middle, the Humvee by Camp Co.
Yeah, but it had sleeves. It was like that, but longer with sleeves, I think. And he had a huge beard. He looked kind of like Santa
big bushy
Claus.
beard.
Yeah, like tactical Santa Claus, sort of.
Wow.
And I remember there was like two things. One, there was canned like Dole pineapple juice in the storage cabinet, and apparently that was like his favorite drink, and like they got that for him.
Yeah,
Like-
no one touched that.
I touched it, and I remember one time I was drinking one, and he was like staring at me, and I was like, "Oh shit, should I not be drinking?"
Was that your last day?
No. Okay. But I
Is
think they
it-
disappeared out of that storage cabinet afterwards.
Wait, is it like the pineapple concentrate like you use for baking?
It's like the cocktail ones. They're like it's like a can of soda, but like tall. It's almost like a Red Bull, but
Okay.
they're like the cans they're like thick and you can like kill somebody.
The
with.
non-compressed.
I've never
they're
seen
like,
those.
They're thick enough wall because
You
there's
couldn't
no-
step on them. Yeah.
Yeah, there's no pressure inside,
I
so
guess,
they have to
yeah.
be strong enough to stack.
Like
I've
it's
never seen
super
those
high.
before.
Probably would not. What do you mean you haven't? You totally have.
I've never no.
You've never seen the
little
can?
steel juice cans.
Yeah.
Maybe like are they short ones?
They're like this tall. They're like a Red Bull can, but it's pineapple
shorter
juice.
than-
Yeah. It's like 9 ounces of pineapple
This is super
juice.
important. We really.
Yeah. Just like Dole pineapple juice can.
Deploying explosive.
No, I don't think so.
How do you not?
Because I don't drink Dole pineapple. I don't.
I
I don't
love
drink.
those. They're like if you drink too many, like at least for me, it completely fucks my tongue up. Like sores.
There it is.
Yes, those. That was like apparently
Dude, I always thought that was for baking or something.
no. It's for
I'm pretty sure my mom would just buy those for baking.
Oh, that sounds right.
Yeah, like never for drinking. I
Yeah, that-
remember having to like get the can openers like puncture.
yeah the big
ar-
one.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
puncture around
They
it.
have like the tiny one that's got a
Oh,
Got a
okay.
pull
yeah.
top on it.
Yeah, for drinking
A refreshing drink.
for getting fired because you're drinking your boss's pineapple juice. And the other thing I remember is there were these peanut butter bars. These like not the ones that explode when you eat them, get everywhere, the granola bars.
Oh, yeah.
It was more like a chewy bar, kind of like that, and it had like a coating of like you know, like
Tiger milk bar.
they're kind of
Oh,
like a tiger
Tiger
milk.
Milk?
They weren't. It wasn't tiger milk though. It was a different one. It was like an orange package, and he would like bite off the bottom half of the bar with the peanut butter, and then throw the top half of the bar.
No, like you go
Yeah, like a squirrel. Yeah,
Preferential.
yeah. He's like a multi-millionaire running this huge company that has like contracts with all like literally all these big.
All the 3 and 4 letter
Yeah,
agencies.
yeah.
You only like veiny parts
Just
of
eating,
Snickers.
yeah, eating. I mean, honestly though, dude, all props to him for doing what he wants. Like, don't
Yeah, he's
fake
got
it.
dude. The
Yeah,
man
he's-
knows what he wants.
He's an iconoclast.
Yeah,
And
he has
does
probably got
what he
fuck you
wants.
money, and his version of fuck you is eating a bowl full of blue cheese black Angus in front of all his employees to assert dominance.
Well,
Don't fight a guy who's willing to get naked, and don't argue with your boss who's willing to eat an entire bowl of blue cheese. In front of you.
don't fight with the guy who only eats the veiny side off of Snickers.
Yes. Do you have any brand stores you want to share
Wow,
while still working in the proximity of like?
Right. So he's really smart, and no, I like there are a lot of crazy stories like that. There are some pretty amazing moments. I don't know if you were there when he was revamping the Unimog project into the Caravan.
Yes.
Oh, you guys worked on Unimog?
Yeah.
That's cool.
And
Unimog.
yeah.
It's a foundation.
Exploration. It's basically like a showpiece.
Yes. Rich people who don't actually drive.
No, I mean I know what they are. It's the
But this particular one is like go do science anywhere in the world Unimog.
oh, it's like built out. It's like a custom. Okay.
Completely custom built out. And then he was turning it into the Caravan, which is the next version of that, a much even larger and more complicated. And he drew an entire system schematic on a like 30-foot by 8-foot whiteboard
Wow.
in one evening with dry erase markers, and we walked in the next day and it was completely laid out all in one go. So the man can hold an image in his head.
Would
It's
you
pretty
say
amazing.
that the Caravan was a good vehicle?
It was a big vehicle.
So it was like an expedition vehicle for research.
Ostensibly for research. Yeah, it was basically put every camera, FLIR system, tethered drone that could hold station above it.
All right, Kevin,
masts.
you're 4 years old.
Also,
you
wait,
love
wait.
Tonka, and your dad writes you a check for $10 million.
Well, but beyond that, it's like
Okay, we've got an
it has
excavator,
machine guns, it has a
excavator up
detachable
front,
excavator.
bulldozer in back,
Yes.
giant mine digger
Turbine
arm
jet
off to
engines
the side.
to go
yeah.
power takeoff. It has a
Tank
It has a
turrets.
platform that lowers a diesel all-terrain expedition motorcycle off the back.
Diesel
In case you-
motorcycle.
Diesel motorcycle, in case you need to go, do reconnaissance down a small
Where's
trail.
the surface-to-air missile launcher on it?
Classified.
I remember there's like that was such an interesting project. It's like the whole thing's really cool until me, Shop Bitch, is like underneath it with what angle grinders are.
Oh yeah.
You know they make a big angle grinder.
Oh yeah.
Do you know
Like
how
the
heavy a big?
8.5-inch blade or
Yes.
something? Yeah.
I
wheel?
sat under that. No, I laid underneath that damn Unimog trailer thing that it was attached to for like an entire day, trying to grind down the like half-inch steel like subframe that had been, because it got cut off something else, and I was just sitting there holding this like about like 40-pound angle grinder.
Yeah, you have to fight it the whole time too.
Yes, gravity is pulling you down, and
Yeah.
you have to shove it into the like. I was yoked. I was like, my arms were finally even. My left arm was finally as strong as my right arm, and I all I can think about when I look at sort of the outcome of that project is how much suffering I did
For nothing.
for this thing that is just kind of like a
Does somebody use it? Was it commissioned for somebody?
no.
No,
Yes.
it's essentially a showpiece.
Yeah.
For the company at this point.
Yeah.
For
Yeah.
sure.
It's very cool.
It's really neat. It's impressive looking, and it's fairly practical.
It's probably all outdated now too, right? Like a lot of this.
Yeah.
Yeah, except it's constantly evolving.
Oh, it's still.
Yeah, it's still a
going.
thing. Yeah.
Because like you see a motorhome that's like 5 years old, and you're like,
Yes. It's like that,
You can
except you
tell.
keep dumping money.
Except build that motorhome
you're like 10 years old.
with everything that was when you look under the skin of a motorhome, you realize that it's
Yeah.
basically just paper.
Yeah.
Yeah,
which this one, you peel the skin away, it's just stainless steel.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
It's just hiding at the very center of it is 1 mile per gallon. It's a little goblin called
1
MPG.
gallon per
Yeah, there it
mile.
is. That's it.
Yeah, that's the Unimog, and that's
Why are
before
there
the
so
caravan.
many cameras on it?
Dude,
Those
I'm
are
telling you,
masts.
a 4
Are
year
you
old with a $10
serious?
million
They all extend
Yes.
up,
Yes.
So yeah.
and that's the motorcycle down there.
That's the motorcycle.
Dude, this looks like a trucker that won the lottery and just
Yes.
started putting chrome shit on his
Yes.
truck.
Yeah,
Bought
and-
everything they had at Buc-ee's.
But
Yes.
it's and all that stuff that looks chrome is polished steel, and the folks who have to polish that steel.
Do you see
are-
the aluminum gas tank?
Yeah.
You know why that's shiny? 'Cause
Wait,
of
the
me.
one underneath.
Yeah, the one under the cap. That's
Oh.
shiny because of me.
Wait, and you said that's not chrome. It's polished.
That's
Everything's
aluminum.
polished. There's no chrome on this
Yeah.
thing.
Yeah.
It's either polished stainless or polished aluminum.
Why are there 12 antennas on the front of it?
Because they're fuck you.
You need all
1,
of
2,
those.
3, 4, 5, 6. This is insane. I love
Yeah.
it though.
You know I think that this is like, it's just, it's a cool project. I think it's probably
Wow,
though,
look
just
at all
like
that
a
stuff.
like a
Yeah.
pillar to mental illness. There is a project though, like one of the coolest projects that I think is like the same idea of this, but
Whoa.
arguably
okay, that's sick.
much like cooler to me is the clock.
Yeah.
Like the clock and this are kind of similar projects where it's like it's a wealthy person's sort of like ambition. Like they have this idea, they want to see it through. Because like to me, ideas are like everyone has an idea, but there's something about like making your idea come to life that's exciting and fun.
yeah.
Not necessarily what the thing is. It's like the fact that you had an idea and you followed through with it. There's like some validation and satisfaction from that, and like that's what I think this motorhome from hell is. It's just this idea and wanting to see it come to fruition and making it, even if it's not necessarily the most justifiable money that's
I
ever
think
been
that's
spent.
true. I think having the drive to push something to completion like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think it's demonstrates both to the, in this case with the caravan to brand sort of what he's capable and what the company's
And
capable
to be able
of.
to like integrate all of that
Yeah.
in the end.
in the and have a real thing.
Yeah.
I mean, I think it's taking that dream, that drawing you did in the margin, and realizing it. The other project, the other sort of big, audacious, bizarre project, that I spent a lot of time, 2 decades working on.
Like double-digit percentage of your life.
Right. is the 10,000 year clock.
Can you?
project.
What are the sort of like the hierarchy of things you can say about it? Because there is like a very one sentence, very interesting way of describing it. I don't know if you're supposed to describe it as that. Can you describe it as that?
Well, I mean, I can describe it that it's an ego piece.
For who though?
Well,
Is that a
originally
target?
for Danny Hillis,
Yeah.
he conceived of this project.
Yeah.
And started, you know, was one of the founders of the Long Now Foundation, which
Danny Hillis, actually, I didn't really know what his history was, but he like has a actual like deep-rooted history in computer science.
Who's
yeah, he's
this?
a
One of the company owners.
Okay.
Like,
Danny Hillis is
boss.
my boss.
Yeah, your boss.
My current boss.
I like.
And he's a polymath and
Yeah.
computer scientist, and you know, some would argue the you know one of the people who like developed the early supercomputers, the idea of the RAID array, lots and lots of things,
like super early.
Wow.
Like yeah.
like core computer architecture that we continue to use to
Yeah.
this day.
yeah.
Crazy.
And is also interested in lots of things. He's a mechanical designer and super fascinated by timepieces, and you know, and really wanted to, you know, to leave a lasting mark on the Earth. And I think this was, you know, the 10,000 Year Clock project is like an embodiment of this idea. Like, what if we really changed the way we thought about time and turned a
Can I say that?
Yeah,
Jeff
go ahead.
Bezos is burying it in a mountain.
yes, that's known.
Okay.
No,
What's not known? Wait, no, you can't say that.
the not known knowns.
So it's like
So it's all mechanical.
It is a purely mechanical.
how old is an old car?
I was just gonna like.
20
how can you
years?
keep anything running for?
How many 30-year-old
10,000
cars
years?
have you seen that don't have somebody who's
ex-
very passionate about
It's
them?
Right,
exponential
right.
decay.
How many 50-year-old cars do you see that have sat in a garage and then worked when you turn the key for the first time in 50 years?
If you can just make one mechanism work for 10,000 years, I'd be impressed. Now, and a clock is like
Yeah.
10,000 mechanisms working for 10,000 years.
Right. It's so ambitious.
It's like what is that? 10 years for a car, so that's 1 order of magnitude, 2 orders of magnitude, 3 orders of magnitude longer lifespan than a car.
Yeah. I mean, one of the stories that's described is you know, why 10,000 years? What makes that date significant?
Yeah.
And it's it's a nice round number. It kind of coincides with recorded human history.
Yeah.
And so what if things didn't just happen to last? Like things that have been around for 10,000 years are things that are
Water,
extremely
dirt.
extremely durable.
Volcanoes.
Yeah. Volcanoes.
No, well, the funny thing is that 10,000 years on a geological timescale is a blip. It's
Yeah.
Yeah.
almost nothing. But from a mechanical manufactured object
Yeah.
point of view, it's a very, very long time.
I feel like we got to do justice to the scale of the clock, though. Like, I think if you've never heard of this, which you probably haven't, which to me is so weird. It's such a bizarre project. Like, I think I've seen it a couple times on Reddit. It is relatively enormous.
Yeah, it occupies a
A room. Enormous. Well,
just the clock.
Yeah.
But the entire mechanism, the weight system,
Yeah.
the energy capture system, the
many square
chime
feet?
system, it's housed in a 12-foot diameter, 500 vertical foot tube in the ground.
like this is like when they say computers used to be the size of a room. Like, this clock is a computer that's the size or bigger than the size of a room. Like, it's enormous.
Yeah.
And it uses like how do you keep, like, when you think about like to me, I see the big problems, and tell me if I'm wrong, like when you go to a place, you know, when you like visit like a Roman church and you see like the statue that has there's no more toes on it because
Right,
people have
right.
touched it and worn down the brass
Yeah.
of the marble. That is the number of interactions that these mechanical components are going to have with each other. How do you stop your machine from literally disintegrating into dust?
So not everyone is in agreement on this.
Really?
There are, we talk with scientists who are just like, well, everything's burning. It's all
scientists.
It's all gonna fall apart.
Scientists don't know.
It's but we have sort of a list of materials that we believe are, we call them 10K compliant, 10,000 year, capable
That's
of lasting for that long, and those include 316L, which is a stainless steel alloy, and titanium and ceramic. And so we use those three materials primarily for the entire clock. And we use those materials for a couple of different reasons, because they're pretty well understood, because we use them in airplanes. And if you use them in airplanes and in aerospace, you study them at very high temperatures, and you really try to understand
they're
them
like really
very well.
quantified.
They're quantified. They're artificially aged. They've been around long enough that we can extrapolate the lifespan of these objects.
Like somewhat reliably.
Exactly. So we're kind of we're just now sort of in that world of material science and metallurgy, where we believe we can make an informed decision about something like this. The other thing is that we make everything run really, really slowly.
Yeah.
And so you mentioned like the number of interactions. We know how often every tooth, and every tooth, when I describe a tooth in the clock, is actually a roll. So we avoid sliding friction.
Okay.
So we're not just grinding it all into dust.
Yeah, eventually.
It's like ceramic bearings.
It's ceramic bearings, and it's dissimilar materials rolling against each other.
So they won't gall or anything like that.
Yeah, we have to. Well, there are joints where we assume that they will diffusion weld over time,
Wow,
and that's
yeah.
okay. And then we use materials against each other that have different crystalline structures, so that they resist alloy together. So
I'm in it for that stuff. I just like winning.